Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always up for it. What are we diving into today?
Well, today, things are going to get kind of deep, even for us.
Oh, how
We're
so?
taking on AI ethics, which, let's be real, is about as much of a hot topic as it gets these days.
Couldn't agree more. It seems like every other day there's a new headline about AI, and not all of them are good.
Exactly. So, we're using this episode of the AI Debate Podcast, 6.00 p.m. Ethics on the Digital Frontier, to, well,
To like untack it all.
yeah, to unpack it all. And what's really cool is how this episode connects current AI ethics debates with, like, their historical context.
Oh, interesting. So we're going way back.
Yep. We're talking about the pioneers who were raising red flags about AI decades ago, which, spoiler alert, is kind of eerie how relevant their concerns still are today.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. Let's do this.
All right, so let's jump right in. One of the things this episode tackles is this whole push to make AI more human-like.
Right, like giving AI personalities, emotions, even faces sometimes. But why though?
Well, the idea is that by making AI more relatable, people might be less creeped out by it and more likely to actually, like, use it and trust it.
Okay, I get that, but it also feels like we're venturing into the uncanny valley here. Like that space where something is almost human but not quite, and it just feels, well, off.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a big part of what makes anthropomorphism so controversial. Like,
Yeah.
are we actually making AI more trustworthy, or are we just opening the door to a whole new level of manipulation and exploitation?
Exactly, and that's where the ethical concerns really kick in, right?
Absolutely. And this episode does a great job of connecting these present-day concerns with the work of people like Joseph Weizenbaum.
Who was Joseph Weizenbaum?
Oh, he was this computer scientist back in the 60s who created this program called ELIZA.
Eliza. Anything like Siri or Alexa.
Kind of. It was a chatbot, one of the first of its kind, and it could actually hold conversations with people, like really convince them they were talking to another person.
Whoa, really? Back
Um,
then? That's wild.
Right. But here's the thing. Weizenbaum himself was, like, deeply disturbed by how easily people became emotionally invested in ELIZA,
Interesting. Why was he so freaked out, though?
because he saw firsthand how easily people could be manipulated by machines, even a relatively simple one like ELIZA. And he was really worried that AI, with its potential power, could be used to deceive and control people on a massive scale.
So it's like we are kind of repeating history. Those concerns from the past, are they happening now?
You hit the nail on the head. Fast forward to today, and we see those fears playing out with things like deep fakes, social media algorithms designed to keep us scrolling, and targeted advertising that seems to know us better than we know ourselves.
It is kind of freaky when you think about it like that,
It really is, and this episode doesn't let us forget that.
which is a good thing. Makes you think twice.
Yeah, it does. And speaking of things that make you think twice, another big topic this episode digs into is the environmental and creative costs of AI.
Right, because all that processing power and data storage doesn't come cheap, environmentally speaking.
Exactly. Training these massive AI models requires a ridiculous amount of energy, which of course contributes to climate change. And then there's the impact on artists and creators.
Yeah, like what happens when an AI can write a song or paint a picture that's just as good as, if not better than, something a human can create? What happens to human creativity then?
And that leads to this whole debate about whether or not ethical AI is even possible.
Right, like is it even realistic to think we can have this incredibly powerful, potentially world-changing technology that's also ethical? Some people say it's like trying to find a square circle, that it's just like fundamentally impossible.
And they might have a point, especially when you consider those real-world AI mishaps that have been in the news lately.
You're talking about those McDonald's AI ordering kiosks.
Yeah, the ones that kept messing up orders. Or what about that new AI assistant, Grok? You know, the one that went on that whole misinformation spree.
Oh, yeah. Not exactly a glowing endorsement for AI reliability, is it?
Nope. And those weren't just funny little glitches. They had real-world consequences. People got the wrong food. They were exposed to false information.
And that really underscores the importance of, like, figuring out this whole AI governance thing, because if we can't even trust AI to get our burger orders right, how can we trust it with more important things?
Exactly. And the episode really emphasizes this growing global demand for stricter AI regulations.
Makes sense. We need some rules of the road here, but who gets to make those rules? And what will they look like?
Yeah, like, are we talking about some kind of international AI treaty? Or will it be a patchwork of different laws in different countries?
It's a tough one for sure, and it's something we're going to have to figure out, like, sooner rather than later.
Well, this deep dive is definitely giving me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's wild to see how these ethical dilemmas we're grappling with today have roots that go back decades. It's like we're living in a science fiction novel that's slowly becoming a reality.
Right. And that's the thing about AI. It's not just some futuristic fantasy anymore. It's here. It's real.
Yeah.
And it's impacting our lives in ways we're only just beginning to understand.
And it's up to us right now to decide what kind of future we want to build with this technology.
Exactly. As we venture further into the age of AI, the most important question we have to ask ourselves is this. What role do we as humans want to play in a world increasingly shaped by algorithms? Because the choices we make today will determine the kind of world we'll be living in tomorrow.
No pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure at all. But hey, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We hope you found this exploration of AI ethics as thought-provoking as we did.
Until next time.
See you then.